Even though football is one of the most enjoyable sports, it can occasionally be violent. Due to their playing styles, some players have over the years gained a negative reputation. This can include roughhousing, disobeying the rules, insulting the officials, and other generally aggressive behaviors. Who were the most aggressive footballers in the world, and what did they do to have their names on this list? Let's find out. Number 10. Arturo Vidal. Midfielder Arturo Vidal is a professional footballer from Chile. His distinctive hairdo has helped establish him as a global football celebrity among fans. The aggressive character of Vidal is sufficient to cause a conflict in a game. He is one of those people that are aggressive by nature. Due to his domineering and forceful tackling techniques, he is also frequently referred to as La Piranha. And he is one of the top midfielders in football thanks to his distinctive style and adaptability. His heading, slide tackling, and interception abilities are top-notch. Vidal excels in both one-on-one situations with goalkeepers and penalty kicks. Number 9. Gennaro Gattuso. Valencia's most recent manager, Gennaro Gattuso, was also a player. He played for Sion Milan and other teams primarily in the defensive midfield position. Gattuso, who was not a particularly technical player, opted for a more physical approach. He was powerful and his tackling was very rash. However, Gattuso is truly adored for his playing style since he was a warrior and not a nasty footballer. He was also quite irritable. He was incredibly productive and had the ability to take charge. Over the course of his career, he made close to 500 games and netted 13 goals. Overall, he is a committed and focused player, but he is still regarded as one of the most aggressive players in football history. Now let's move on to number 8. Diego Pablo Simeone. Diego Pablo Simeone gained widespread recognition among fans after David Beckham was dismissed from the 1998 World Cup for kicking out at him. However, 6 years earlier in La Liga, the Cholo, who would defeat Beckham, was beginning to take shape. One of the most violent teams in football history taught the Gang of Bandits. This was Sevilla in the year 1992 to 1993 season, when World Cup champion Carlos Bilardo was in command and a teenage Diego Pablo Simeone was being unleashed on Spanish football. Diego Maradona made a brief stopover at the city. He even got hit by a cop during a game. His past alone makes you wish that you never come across him on the field. Number 7. Antonio Rudiger. Antonio Rudiger had a fiery personality, wore his heart on his sleeve, and frequently engaged in full-time scuffles. He is an all-around defender who is well-liked by Stamford Bridge supporters and an important member of Thomas Tuchel's starting lineup. Rudiger gave the Chelsea fans' favorite kind of fire and intensity on the field. There have been some feisty personalities on Chelsea's most successful teams over the past couple of decades who opponents dread playing against. Diego Costa, a former striker for the Blues, comes to mind as an example of the ultimate swindler. In the current dressing room, Rudiger was one of the most dominant figures who always enters a confrontation first. The team was disappointed when he decided to leave last year. Number 6. Nigel de Jong. Former Dutch football player Nigel de Jong was a defensive midfielder. He was regarded as one of the best defensive midfielders in the world during his time. But he is also one of the most violent football players ever, which is bad. His most notorious incident occurred during the 2010 World Cup final between Spain and the Netherlands when he kicked Xabi Alonso in the chest. The fact that he received a yellow card rather than a red one infuriated many football fans, especially Spanish ones. After the game, he wasn't reprimanded either. De Jong continued to play with such a careless attitude after that. He committed more violent acts such as the reckless tackle on Frenchman Haytham Ben Arfa, whose tibia was fractured as a result of the incident. De Jong was dropped from the ensuing Dutch team, and manager Bert van Merwijk described him as wild and unneeded. Number 5. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a Swedish striker, is renowned for his smugness and excessive self-assurance. He has played for a variety of teams, including Barcelona, Inter Milan, Ajax, Juventus, PSG, and AC Milan. He was born on October 3, 1981 and started his senior career in 1999 with Malmo FF, where he played for 2 years. Ibrahimovic is well known for his explosive temper. He got into an altercation with a teammate at practice early in his career, and the teammate's father tried to have him kicked off the team. Since then, he has been involved in a number of violent incidents with both teammates and opponents. For some of them, we can point to his assault on Barca coach Pep Guardiola, his altercation with Milan colleague Oguchi Onyewu on the practice field, and hitting Bari defender Marco Rossi in the stomach during a match, or his strange chokehold on NYCFC goalkeeper Sean Johnson. The fact that Ibrahimovic is also a black belt in Taekwondo is equally intriguing. Another factor contributing to his reputation as one of the most aggressive players in football history is the total of 14 red cards he received throughout his career. Number 4. Roy Keane. At number 4, we have former Irish footballer Roy Maurice Keane, who spent most of his career playing for Manchester United. In 2004, Pelé rated him as one of the greatest living footballers. He was strong and aggressive. The Times listed him among the top 50 toughest football players in history, yet he is the epitome of a Red Devil. His playing caused harm to many, and he even put a stop to a career. In the 2001 Manchester Derby, Roy Keane shattered Alf Inchland's leg with a knee-high foul. Roy Keane claimed that the tackle was premeditated and motivated by revenge. When he acted egotistically following that event, he was given a 5-match suspension extension and fined €150,000. Keane was tremendously dangerous to play against, and this was only one of many instances of his terrible behavior on the field. Number 3. Sergio Ramos. This renowned Spanish player has been active for nearly 20 years. Sergio Ramos, who is regarded as one of the best defenders of his generation, has strong physical and technical skills. He frequently came through for his clubs, most notably in the 2014 UEFA Champions League final when Real defeated Atletico thanks to his equalizer in the final seconds of the second half. However, Ramos' playing style also has a sinister side. Ramos is frequently regarded as a player who lacks discipline, plays with reckless aggression, and frequently receives punishment for his careless play. Many refer to him as a diver as well. Not to be overlooked is the fact that he was one of the most aggressive football players ever due to the number of red cards he received. In La Liga, the Spanish national team, and the UCL, he has received the most cards. Just in El Clasico, he has shown 5 red cards. Ramos has so far received 232 yellow and 28 red cards. However, despite all of these facts, he makes a generally competent defender. Number 2. Vinnie Jones. Former British footballer and actor Vincent Peter Jones, although he was a player, most people are familiar with him from his performances in action films like The Midnight Meat Train, X-Men, and Snatch. He played for English teams including Leeds United, Sheffield, Chelsea, and others. Just like in his movies, he was enraged and angry while playing. He is among the most aggressive football players ever, and his nickname Butcher in some strange way explains why. On the field, he fractured bones and made some tough tackles. He posed a threat both on and off the field. He was punished for all of them, but in general, you don't want to get on this guy's nerves. He was accused of assault causing actual bodily harm and criminal damage against a neighbor, slapped a passenger on an airplane for an air rage incident, and threatened to kill the cabin crew in the same event. Well, I guess you better hope you never run into this guy. And now, we move on to number 1. Pepe. We've mentioned a lot of players in this list so far, and most of them are pretty scary. But the top spot would have to go to Pepe. Pepe has been a member of the Porto team since 2019, but he was most recognized for his defensive work with Real Madrid and his solid chemistry with Sergio Ramos. Although he has become more composed over the last few years, he nonetheless committed some deplorable acts that will never be forgotten. By himself, his onslaught on Casquero may propel him to the top of all-time lists of the most aggressive football players. He kicked Casquero twice repeatedly after pushing him and causing him to collapse. It was insufficient. He continued to injure Casquero by pushing him in the face and inserting his knee into his back. He then started fighting with the other athletes. For this incident, he was suspended for 6 games. Pepe continued to behave poorly after that, and he once engaged in careless acts such as stepping into Messi's path, kicking a player in a personal space, and unnecessarily forceful tackling. He seems more chill now, and glad to see he has somewhat cooled off. But well, those are the football players we think that can be most aggressive on the field. Did we miss some? Let us know who you think deserves to be in this list in the comment down below. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.